According to Degree.com, studies show that 63% of Americans log on to Facebook daily, and 40% log on multiple times each day. I am also a part of the statistic and am heavily involved in social media use as a member of Facebook, Instagram, Pinterest, and Snapchat. With the wide use and popularity of social media, I feel it is necessary to address the poor effects it has on each of us by creating a false sense of connection, decreasing our productivity, and cyberbullying. Whether you're an avid social media user, barely look at it once a month, or don't even have an account, this speech is important for you to hear. This reason being that you will more than likely deal with people who do look at social media a lot, like a spouse, family member, friend, co-worker, or child. Social media is everywhere and its effects follow, so it is important we know what these effects consist of. That is exactly why I am going to present these 3 effects to you today and leave it up to you to decide where you stand on these issues. I will go through each issue and explain them to clarify any misconceptions that may exist. First, I will explain the effect of creating a false sense of connection. This is one of the most well-known issues because this is definitely one of the most serious. According to Inside Man, one thing about this issue is that all of these virtual relationships lead us to diminishing our real-life conversations. Professor Jung goes on to say that this interaction also causes problems of not being able to distinguish the true difference between meaningful relationships and social media relationships. This can cause problems because it makes us numb to the real world. It also may make us take other relationships for granted and not put as much energy into those we already have. An example of this is looking at those around us. How many people are on their phones and not even noticing or caring about those people that they are actually with? How many people are more consumed in texting back their friend than having a meaningful relationship with someone who is with you right at that moment? How many people are driving and just decide to quickly check a text or a status? These examples show that it is slowly diminishing our relationships. Lastly, by focusing so much of our time on social media relationships, we may start to lose or diminish our more important relationships of those who aren't on the computer. Next, I will explain the effect of decreasing our productivity. One of the main ways it decreases our productivity is by lowering our motivational level. According to an article from Ms. Probst, it makes people restless to not be able to occasionally glance at social media. It sometimes causes poor self-esteem, which also leads to decreased motivation, because when people feel down on themselves, it is hard to have motivation to do anything else. Another way it decreases our productivity is by causing distractions. It is easy to get distracted with simple tasks when we feel a vibrate of a notification or see icons on our phones. It is also a temptation when there is any downtime to try and quickly scan our social media accounts. The last way it decreases our productivity is by the problems it causes in the workforce. There have been many complaints and rules against social media in the workforce because employees are simply getting too distracted. According to Nucleus Research, Facebook shaves 1.5% off of office productivity, while also proving billions of dollars lost from companies due to this addiction. Lastly, I will explain the effect of cyberbullying. Cyberbullying is a very large problem, and one of its main entities that supplies it is social media. An organization that is called Enough is Enough came out with a survey and found that 95% of teenagers who use social media have seen cyberbullying, and 33% of those had been victims themselves. This is an outstanding and scary number to have about bullying because of its long-term effects it can make on people's self-esteem. Cyberbullying can cause tension and distress in someone's life. It not only affects the lives of those who are actually being bullied, but those who are loved ones of the bullied person. It can cause dangerous problems with self-esteem and self-worth, which may cause people to do things that they wouldn't have done before. Cyberbullying can include a breeding ground for predators. We can't control everyone our loved ones contact with, and that can be scary considering all the problems out there. They can pose as friends or friends of others we trust, so they seem harmless. According to a 2010 CBS News report, 42% of youth reporting having been victims to predators or unknown bullies. In conclusion, social media can be a fun and exciting way to stay connected with people and meet new people, but we also need to be aware of the negative effects that social media can cause. The three effects of creating a false sense of connection, decreasing our productivity, and cyberbullying are all effects that we need to greatly consider. We must, as social media users, be willing to use less of it or get rid of it completely if we see these effects taking over our lives. I challenge each of you to reflect on your lives and your social media use and see if you have some of these effects that need to be addressed. Thank you.